There was a article they did on the Al Baqa cafe bombing like 2 days ago, and it's crazy because this is the piece that's supposed to be covering Israel in a somewhat critical manner. It's like an indefensible war crime that happens.
Yeah.
But the first, you'll see in the first paragraph when they talk about casualties in Gaza, they make sure to stipulate that the Gaza Health Ministry does not distinguish between civilians and combatants.
This is it, right? It said refuge in Gaza torn apart by an Israeli strike. The Israeli military said it killed at least 3 Hamas operatives at Al Baqa Cafe. It also killed a journalist, an artist, and 2 best friends reconciling after a fight.
Starting with Hamas operatives, they said that they got him with no evidence. And I think one of the ties was that it was like the nephew of a Hamas commando who was just in the army there, but you're allowed to kill him while he's drinking coffee.
Yeah.
It was just a few paragraphs down where they're saying like,
if the New York Times' metric, or because the New York Times' metric for like enemy combatant is whatever Israel says is an enemy combatant. If Israel's rules for declaring someone an enemy combatant was appropriate and was adjusted for the Palestinian side, you could nuke Tel Aviv and it would be considered a legal thing to do. And the reason, and I don't think that's appropriate, obviously.
But that's true.
But anyone that is even remotely associated with the Israeli occupying force in any capacity or is a part of any of the Israeli governing parties, part of the war coalition parties, or any party with the exception of any person that has ever served in the IDF would be a enemy combatant at all points. Doesn't matter if they're 50, doesn't matter if they're 70, doesn't matter if they're like literally the
janitor at the Mossad satellite campus or whatever.
Yeah, or even like a fucking 75-year-old retired IDF IDF operative that has spent his life being an anti-Zionist after that. That would still be like a valid military target by Israel's designation, because they just say it doesn't matter. This person was connected to a Hamas militant, and now they don't even have to be a militant who is actively in combat. They can just be a Hamas official from the Politburo that is tasked with civil governance, like the trash collector. You know what I mean? The head
journalists,
of
that's the big thing with journalists. They just
the head of Hamas
fabricate
sanitation, civil servants.
Yeah.
Or journalists, exactly.
Make kill lists because of any. I mean, I don't know, like the example of the UNRWA defunding, where it was like out of the 13,000 employees in UNRWA, it was that 13 employees were allegedly, by the Israeli military's allegations, associated with Hamas or associated with October 7th. They had no evidence for that, but even if that were true, all that means is that members of the militant group have day jobs with UNRWA. That's all that means. But of course, you can, lay the groundwork to starve children, as we're seeing right now, from 2 years of stripping funding from like the biggest organization operating in Gaza. Crazy.
Yeah. Are medical workers included? Everyone is included.
Everyone.
Because Hamas both has the Al-Aqsa Brigades, which is the militant wing, and it has the Civil Governance Political Bureau. Okay. The civil governance is like tasked with the education ministry, healthcare, things of that nature, trash collection, right? Infrastructure. And that's also still Hamas. That is the only governing party in Gaza. Okay. And therefore, didn't I say Al-Qassam Brigades? Did I say Al-Aqsa? Sorry, Al-Qassam Brigades is the militant wing. Al-Aqsa Flood is the October 7th operation that was named the Al-Aqsa Flood. And apologies. Yeah, they have the Israeli government has basically openly targeted, the agriculture minister or the head of police. Like, it's completely unacceptable. It is a direct war crime.
It's the power of like the terrorism designation, right?
Yeah, but
that's
also
the bad guy. And I mean Hamas, being
exactly. No, that's why terror. That's precisely why that vague definition exists to begin with.
Yeah.
And they're using and abusing that. They're spamming that as aggressively as they possibly can. And it's clearly not working as well as it used to, but it doesn't really matter because for the media, it's enough. And there's still plenty of people who when they hear "but Hamas." There's plenty of people who just
That's
like
why they
agree with
put
it.
it right in this subheading there, right? They're like, I mean, dude, fucking, I don't know, 32 people were killed by Israel. They completely destroyed this cafe. I did a video on this. Like, oh my God, Channel 4 covered it. The British outlet Channel 4 covered it pretty well because they're like, dude, these two young women were reconciling a fight that they had and they were texting their family about it and they just blew the whole thing up. And all of what happened there, the mass slaughter, is just summarized here. They're like, okay, it blew up and then probably there was a Hamas guy there. So the average American reader that has been, propagandized to believe that that's evil, there was an evil, barbaric, rapist, evil, like Hitler in there means, okay, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. And that is, again, totally inappropriate. That is completely ridiculous. It is illegal. Okay. There are rules of warfare. There's rules of combat. There are rules for combat for a good reason. And people have tried to abide by said rules. They've obviously expanded on them aggressively over the course of many years, but, you can't just shoot and kill someone, even if they are literally a fucking militant otherwise, okay? They're not actively in combat. You just can't go up and like kill a veteran. You know what I mean? Or you can't go up and kill someone who is in the military, but they're off duty.
No, that you understand, like if they're getting treated in a hospital, the hospital's a valid military target now.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
that's insane to me that like
already
Israel,
wounded from being attacked, laying in a hospital bed, drinking coffee at a cafe.
Like you
blow
can't
up
even do that.
everything.
And we don't even have evidence that these guys were that person to begin with.